Kody and Robyn sat elsewhere. I waved at Meri, we talked to Meri.
I think the wedding was a little bit awkward just because there are some people in the family that don't really want to interact with me.
He did kind of at least say hi to me a couple times in passing. And it's just so weird. I'm not quite sure. Obviously over. It's just so weird after 30 years or whatever. Justify the case for why we feel the way we do.
Robyn and I were put over kind of in a corner, probably for our safety. And this is just not right. That this family isn't together, that we're not one family. I didn't want to talk to her. Janelle, and I didn't want to talk to her.
It's quite interesting because Janelle says that she did speak to Kody, but Kody says he didn't want to speak to her. Maybe he did speak to her, but he just didn't want to speak to her. But this whole situation that has now happened with the family is, as you know, nothing but just tragic. Just imagine now you're having to go to one of the kids' weddings, birthdays, any type of celebration, and it's awkward. And it's that time when, if I'm one of the kids now, I'm simply asking the question, where are my parents? And when I ask the question of where are my parents, what I mean is, where are the adults? Where is the maturity? Where is the civil side? Where is that part where we can just be cordial with each other for the sake of doing the right thing for whatever the event is? Now, I'm not saying anything went wrong per se at the event. I'm not saying that there was any kind of bust up, blah, 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 but it is quite sad that when you're writing those invitations, you're having to then also think about in the back of your head, I hope everything's going to be okay. I hope dad doesn't clash with so-and-so. The way this family has grown so far apart over the years, it's just nasty to watch.
It was hard. It was hard. It was hard. It was hard. Whether I'm right or wrong, it just still feels just deep wounds of betrayal.
I was surprised to even hear Kody say that, to be honest, about whether I'm right or wrong. But this is the problem there, isn't it? The problem is that, where is the right? Why can't people just do things based on what is the right thing to do? Especially Kody, especially Robyn. Why? But instead of doing what is the right thing or thinking about the right thing, too busy thinking about how all of this has impacted you. As if you wasn't a part of it, building up to it affecting you.
Members that it was just like, hi. Went out of the house and she said, I don't want you to stay here anymore. Sure that she was being serious. And I'm looking back now and feeling how stupid that was of me. For Christine, I think that if we would have just broken up as friends, it would have been better for the whole.
I find it hilarious that he actually thought of the idea of them breaking up as friends. Don't get me wrong, that would have been better, that would have been healthier. But let's be real, that was never going to happen. Kody would have never allowed them to break up as friends. He would have done what he could possibly to make sure that the breakup wasn't going to happen. Because that's what he tried to do.
Family. Back together another time instead of polarizing everybody. Christine and I think that if we would have just broken up as friends, it would have been better for the whole family. Like, make it so we could get back together another time.
And that is the reason why Christine could not break up with you as if you were friends. Because she was finally done. She was finally out of the door. She finally understood that things were never going to improve. Things were never going to become how she wished for them to become. And things were always going to either stay the same or they were going to get worse. Probably knew that it was going to get worse. Because your priorities was with Robyn, your kids with Robyn, Robyn's kids. Look at it this way. Kody, you couldn't even make a civil life with your first wife. You then couldn't make a civil life with your second wife, along with your first wife, Meri, Janelle. Then you couldn't even make a civil life with then your third wife. Your third wife, with your second wife, with your first wife. So now you got 3 wives, Christine, Janelle, Meri. They all have their own little issues among each other. They all probably also have issues with you in that time. Janelle even left at one point. Came back another point. But then also on top of that, you then move on to then adding a 4th wife. The question is, when was you going to learn that adding more wives was never going to resolve anything? You then bring in Robyn. She obviously gets, she doesn't get along with Christine, didn't get along with Janelle neither. Meri, there was a relationship. But when she came in, whatever relationship you had with your first 3 wives, separate even more. The relationship you had with your kids started to separate the more you started to separate from those mothers of your children. Those mothers that went through, God knows, apart from Meri only had one child, but Janelle and Christine went through giving birth to so many kids. So they went through 9 months multiple times of being pregnant, labor so many times to birth the kids that you would impregnate with. And you can't even bring up a responsibility. You can't even have a responsibility of being there for these kids. You can't have a responsibility of even treating these women correctly.
I'm so mad at us for doing what we did to our family, and that we collectively messed with something that was working. I'm really struggling with the idea of whether or not I remind them about their siblings and talk about them.
To be honest with you, I do find it hard to actually add in some of ROBYN stuff because, each time I add in anything that ROBYN has said in the episode, I know it's always going to be negative. It's always going to be a victim blame. It's always going to be me.
And that's going to create the question of, where are my siblings? Why aren't they seeing me here for my party? Where are they? And why aren't they here?
With ROBYN, there was always a very separateness. My children were scolded if they would open up ROBYN's fridge.
Like tension and conflict, just because whenever somebody new comes in the family, it just is. It's what happens.
I mean, listen, it is completely normal for there to be tension and conflict when someone new comes to the house, 1000%. That cannot be disputed to the slightest. There's a whole lot of truth behind that.
Do was be a part of this family. My kids didn't like going over there because they saw that ROBYN and their dad were a couple. They were frustrated at different things.
ROBYN coming in the family doesn't come with nearly as much angst and frustration and struggles that we had 30 years ago. Years was just difficult. My marriage with Meri, Janelle coming in the family, Christine coming in the family, the experience of that coming together for years was...
See, the fact that he even speaks about it himself, acknowledges himself, but he doesn't want to take no accountability around it is hilarious.
Was just difficult. I remember Ari just making a little statement one time, I don't like Christine. And I kind of corrected her to say, you don't know her at this point well enough to like her or not. Well, she left dad and I don't like her. But that same kind of loyalty is happening amongst others in the family. Ari's the youngest. Of course, she should act like a child.
It's funny that though, isn't it? It's funny that we are watching a situation with adults and we are witnessing adults being children. I'm not saying all adults. Actually, no, F that. They're all being a child in their own way, but respectfully, I feel like, when it came to Christine, she had every right to leave. And she has every right, I guess, to feel how she feels and to behave the way she behaves, to be fair, but sometimes things can feel quite granted of why it is this way. Janelle, my thing with Janelle is personally, given the fact that she still wants to be a part of this lifestyle, I strongly believe that Janelle is the way she is because in terms of relationships, she has a lot of self-esteem, she's got a lot of that. Whereas we know for years she's been trying to lose weight, but her weight loss journey has been absolutely abysmal. You know what I mean? And I believe a part of the journey would have been to do with her helping her own self-esteem, her self-confidence. And that's why for me personally, if you told me a year from now, Janelle is back with them again, I wouldn't be surprised. But end of the day, this is why I believe Janelle still wants to be a part of a plural relationship, to be honest with you. But I could be wrong. Let me know your thoughts on that one.
Always from the very beginning, they knew that their dad was not going to always be there. I always felt like Kody and ROBYN mismanaged the situation with her children. I feel like that was poor parenting.
Personally, even though I agree with what she's saying, the question that I have is this. Why would 4 women decide to have kids with one man, knowing this one man was never physically be able to be there for all the children all the time? But there is that conversation there too. If you have the answer to that, please do let me know. Now, in no shape or form is my question based on defending Kody in any kind of way. No. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, if you're going to have one man and he's going to have 4 wives, 2 wives, 3 wives, there's no way he's going to be able to accommodate each and every child, especially when each wife, apart from Meri, has got multiple children. And that's just something that I think, I do wonder if that's even thought about within the religion, within people that obviously live this lifestyle. So that question isn't necessarily related to them per se. It's just a general question. Let me know your thoughts on that one, please.
Through all history of the family, the other kids did it.
Through a lot of mourning, loss and grieving of the relationships. and dealing with some of my own just situational depression from it.
Robyn. Do I even need to add anything else? Of course, she's going to start talking about things that are going to impact her in a mental way. Surprised there wasn't any tears at that point. Now, the rest of the episode was pretty much around Kody and her pregnancy. And for me, and obviously, those areas aren't really the areas that I specialize in having opinions in. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I didn't add that stuff to this part of the video. Or no, am I going to speak about it? But just so you know, that's the rest of the video in case you haven't seen it. Her pretty much, I think it was I believe it was around about her potentially needing to have a C-section. Could be wrong. No, I'm pretty sure that was the case. And also a conversation about them wanting her to have like a home pregnancy, or at least Kody was saying that it feels more natural. But hey, with that being said, let me know your thoughts and we can talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.